In 1995, one of Britain's oldest merchant banks collapsed because a single trader hid enormous losses from the institution that employed him. The trader was Nick Leeson, and by the time the deception was fully exposed, Barings had been overwhelmed by losses it could not absorb. Barings traced its history back to 1762, making the bank roughly 233 years old when it failed. Leeson arrived in Singapore in 1992 to work for Barings Futures Singapore. He eventually occupied an unusually dangerous position. He was involved in both trading and the back-office settlement function that was supposed to record and reconcile those trades. That weakened a basic control principle in finance. The person taking risk should not also control the records used to check that risk. Leeson was authorized to conduct relatively low-risk arbitrage between futures markets in Singapore and Osaka. The intended strategy was to exploit small price differences between related contracts rather than make large directional bets on the market. But Leeson began taking unauthorized positions that were very different from the low-risk activity Barings believed it was overseeing. Instead of reporting the losses, he concealed them. A secret account became the central hiding place. The account was associated with genuine trading errors, but it was used to conceal unauthorized losses that should have been visible to the bank. This created two versions of reality. Management saw a successful trading operation while the true position became increasingly dangerous. Because the operation appeared successful, Barings continued providing the Singapore business with substantial funding. As the losses grew, Leeson tried to recover them by increasing his bets. This is the classic danger of doubling down. A larger position may recover the earlier loss, but it can also magnify it. By the end of 1994, concealed losses had already reached hundreds of millions of Singapore dollars. Then, on January 17, 1995, a powerful earthquake struck Kobe, Japan. Japanese financial markets fell sharply after the disaster. Leeson had major exposure to the Nikkei and continued taking positions intended to recover earlier losses. Instead, the losses accelerated. By late February, the unreported losses had exceeded the bank's available capital. The Reserve Bank of Australia later summarized cumulative unreported losses at approximately £827 million. Including the cost of closing the unauthorized positions, the total loss was estimated at approximately £927 million. As the situation became impossible to conceal, Leeson left Singapore. He was later arrested in Frankfurt while traveling through Germany. Back in London, Barings attempted to find a rescue. The rescue effort failed. On February 26, 1995, Barings was placed into administration. ING subsequently acquired Barings for a symbolic £1. Leeson was extradited to Singapore, pleaded guilty to fraud-related charges, and was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison. The collapse became a textbook example of why trading, settlement, reconciliation, and risk oversight must remain independent. Strong institutions are designed so that one person's mistake cannot pass unchecked through every layer of control. Barings did not fail simply because one trader took reckless positions. It failed because management and control systems allowed those positions to grow, remain hidden, and consume the bank's capital. A 233-year-old financial institution was brought down not by one bad trade, but by losses that were allowed to remain invisible until they were too large to survive.